Hello, this is Liz with Crafty Devotion, and today I'm going to teach you how to make this gorgeous wreath. And this wreath is a tattered wreath. It is made out of fabrics and miscellaneous embellishments. I am making a kit, so I will be teaching this as though it is made as though you have a kit. I have a limited quantity of these. I have about, I don't know, 5 or 6, and I'm thinking I may even make one lavender purple one available. But this is not a large wreath, it is a small wreath. And let's see, so this is a foot. So it's actually a little less than a foot when you're finished with it. The tassel should be another half yard, because I actually give you, of all these embellishments I have, I at least give you a yard. So then we fold that yard in half. So it's going to be from the top here, this one is 12 to there. So it's about more than 24 inches long. So it is not a very large wreath, but is very inspiring. And this one here I will put in my shop for sale. So let me get that closer to you. And I'm going to start showing you how to make it, and we will begin with the kit. Okay, this is what your kit will look like. It will come with a lot of things, and it will have a heart, and this heart that I'm going to use is actually made with it's actually a styrofoam heart, and it is a thin styrofoam heart. It's probably 1 inch or so, but what I've done to reinforce it is I've actually wrapped it with duct tape and then wrapped it again with some beautiful ribbon so that it will go with this project. So it even has a hanger, which you can use or cut off or make your own, but I just decided to leave that on there. And you will receive a lot of things. This is different fabrics here. These are for the tassels. You'll receive two bundles for your tassels, and plus this is going to be used in the tassel, but I wanted to leave it separate because I wanted to show you that if you want to, you can use part of it in the tassel, or you can actually use it on the heart, which can be the same can be said for all of this. And I'm not going to go into detail about everything, because you will see the details of how we are going to use these items in when I'm teaching you. So you will get a bling, and I have one more bling. Here you go. And here's another bling. You'll get these two. I forgot to put this one in my original, but I did want to put one more in there, so you can decide where you put it, but I'll show you where I think we should put it in process. So you'll have all these things. I forgot these. These are the main flowers you'll have, and I handmade these flowers. I have one lavender kit I started, and this is the lavender flower. I think I'm going to make 2 of these, but please let me know if you do want me to save one of these for you, because I don't know if I'll make 2 or I'll just keep this one. It's not completed yet. I have a few more things to put in, like things that are pink here. I need to find get a lavender and put it in there instead of the pinks, but it's going to be this color. I had made these kits before, and I basically sold them all. I sold them all, and so I said, well, I guess I can make another one. I'm going to put everything back in there except for the fabrics. There you go. The fabrics will be the first things that we begin with. It's the base of our wreath. So here's all the fabrics, and that's what we start with. And let me show you the fabrics. Oops. And you will see all the details of the other things that are in this kit as we go. There are 3 different types of fabrics. So as you can see, you have a pink, and there's this gorgeous fabric, and this gorgeous fabric here. Oh, here you can see it better here. We're going to be cutting these in strips, and we are going to make the strips about 1 inch to 3/4 of an inch, or no smaller than a 1/2 inch. So you need to come up with, so let me just measure this one so you can see what it looks like in inches. So this is here, that's the inch right there. And so this piece I cut over here is over a 1/2 inch. So I like about 3/4 of an inch. So I'm going to go in between those two and just, I go through and I just strip it. These fabrics are made from are mostly cotton. They can be cotton blends. So I know this one this pink one I'm using right here, I know it's got to be a blend. I don't know exactly what they're made out of, but they are all, I don't know what they're blended with, really, is what I'm trying to say. So let's do this one. And, okay. All right. So you need to come up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 10 on this one. But it could be 8, at least 8 is what you need. And so after you do that, you're going to tear every single one of them off. And again, I don't make my things where every strip is exactly the same, but if you do want them exactly the same, then you need to do around, you know, cut it perfectly here. But you will do this for every single one of them. So this one, the same thing, you cut it, and you can use a ruler to measure so you feel more comfortable, but you need at least 8 of each one. Okay, I have been tearing mine up, but I did want to show you one more thing, is that we tear them up, and then when you're done, you basically take the time to clean them up and remove a lot of the stray strings. So you can see here that there's a few that come off, and I just pull them off and I gather them together. So there we go. So you do want to come up with at least 8 strips. Okay, I'm almost done here, and I wanted you to see that you just pull as much out as you think you need to, and as you can see, I come up with pieces of thread which I toss away because they do get tangled. Okay, now when you're done with that, you will take each strip, and I usually put several, like this time I'll get 3, and you will actually cut them in half because the finished size is half of that length. And I do it that way purposely because I think it's less work when you're pulling the threads off and things like that. So now they're half the size that you started with, and you will end up with around at least 16 because I told you to make at least 8 strips, and then those strips are cut in half, and you end up with 16. Now to order my kits, I will place a link to my Etsy shop, to this actual wreath, where I will have it in my shop, and I have very limited quantity. I think I only have 5 or 6, and if you really do want the lavender purple one, I will put it together for you. Alright, so next you get your heart and you get your fabric, and what we're going to do is we're just going to put them in order. The order doesn't matter. If you want, because we're going to just do even amounts of each, you can start with the pink, is what I'm going to do. And the pink one, since it's a and when you put these on, don't put them so tight that you can't move them, because you may need to move them. In fact, this one right here, I'm going to leave it open at the tip, this part here. Leave a little bit open because we're going to actually do something else here. So I want you to start around there, and then we're going to go all the way around, and we will be basically using a variety of Not doing it so tight because later on we're going to be able to tighten them up a little bit more if it needs it. And I'll show you why later. Here's this one. So this one right here, this is the right side and this is the wrong side. What I do is I put both wrong sides together so that there's on either side is the right side. Fold it in half, and then I take it and I crisscross it over like a fish. You see the fish? Not a very, now you see it. So then I put this here, okay, and then the tails, the fish tails, are going to go in through where the head is. Now what your goal is that this side is actually going to end up being our front, and you want these fronts of the colors to be actually what is going to show on this side. So if you see the fronts on this side, then you know that it's wrong. But it's, even if it is wrong, it's still okay because you can see that the colors on there are beautiful and it looks okay. So it's not like detrimental that they be exact. That's what I'm trying to say. But that is my goal. So this is the front, this is the back. See how close those look in colors? I do the same thing. Okay, and then you basically do this all the way through. And again, I will place these in the description box, but you can find me on Etsy as Crafty Devotion, Liz Benavides. You can find me on Facebook, the same name, Crafty Devotion, Liz Benavides. But one thing you should know about Facebook is that I have a business page. I also have a boutique group. So in the group is where I actually share what I'm working on, the things that I'm doing, maybe kits that are coming up. So right now I showed them a photo of this before I even record, before I even make the kits. I showed them a photo of what I'm doing, and I started doing this one because a customer was asking me. She said, I saw you had one. Do you have any more? Can you make me one? And she's a very good customer, so of course I'm gonna work on what she's interested in. Okay, so I'm about here, and when I get towards this part, that's when I start counting, and I want to make sure that I use the pinks, and I want to make sure I have about 7 here, because remember we end up with 8, so I need 8 on each side. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and this next one will be the 8th one. And we can have more, and I can still add some down here on the bottom, a whole set if I want to. So this is just my way of estimating, making sure that I'm not, going off and making it too tight. And the truth is that we're making these, and it's a tattered. It doesn't need to be exact. And what's important for you to understand is you do not have to cover this tip all the way, because the tip, it gets covered. You see, it gets all the embellishments on it, so it doesn't have to be covered all the way. It should have plenty of fabric on there, but it doesn't need to be completely covered. So, and you can always add later also if you need to, but that's why you don't make it too tight, and I'll show you how to do that. So there you go. So also the one thing I do want to make sure you know is that when you do put these on, sometimes it's easier to put that on first away from there, and then not too tight, and then pull it towards that tip. And if you feel like, oh, I want more, I think I'm going to go ahead and put this like this. There you go. That looks better. And it starts covering that. think I had a really one that came out really thin. The thin ones up here in this corner probably form a little better around the, oh, this one's really thin. I'll put this really thin one. Sometimes the thin ones, now that one came out too thin, but it's okay. It'll all get concealed. And so put that one in. Now we're going to start with another pink. So I want you to notice when I put it on, then I kind of make sure these are squished together, and then I'm not pushing it real hard, but I am putting it on there. I'm making sure this is narrow enough so that they do fit together. And always remember when you're doing this that this is not a metal heart, it is a styrofoam, so you're still careful. I mean, it is really strong because I did cover it, but I really don't want you to break your, so you can see I put it like this, squish them together, and make them kind of loose. They don't need to be too tight yet. You will be tightening them up a little bit later. Now look how far I got. I have a little, I left a little space because we need to leave a little space because we're going to put something here. And then what I want you to do is, what I do is I kind of count to make sure I have close to the same amount of pinks on each side. So this side has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This side has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but 7. This one right here doesn't have very much room here. I'm going to show you how you move them around. All I do is I gently kind of hold it and I move it this way. Don't do it really hard. Look, move it back and forth like you would maybe a screw with a gentle. You don't want to pull so hard that what I'm doing is I want more space here. I still have at least 2 of each color. So and you won't always end up with the same color on each edge, but I'm just trying to move it up a little bit because I think I need a little more room right here. And I know I still have 2 more of each that I could put on there. Now the other thing is, if you feel like, oh, I put it too tight and you need more room, and you feel like you're running out of fabric, you actually have other fabric of these fabrics inside of your kit that we're using for a tassel. And you, by all means, you can take that off and use that if you want, but it's okay. Or you can fill it in with anything else, because I start my base with fabric. And so now these are up about the same. And that's what I want, because then I can fit the other, there's a good 6 here still. So there we go. Now we're going to get the next thing. All right, these are the things we're going to use next. You'll find I don't think this is about 2 yards of a thin lace. You'll find this thick lace with zigzags. You'll find 2 knotted ones. Now the ones with the beads on it, that one you can actually put back. I want you to get this one without the beads. Oops, there's a flower. Flower got stuck. So I want you to get the one without the beads. And this one right here, what we're going to do is that, you see how it's zigzags? We are going to cut, you're going to just cut the zigzags so that you end up with 3 pieces. Because I don't want, I want them to be thin pieces. This is a tattered rag wreath, And it has, I made it tattered, but I actually also placed a bit of elegance in it with the beautiful flowers and some of the different textures that I put in this kit. But this is part of the tattered. I just am using, this is a fabric type of a lace, and it's just a good way for you to also learn how to use different things as fillers. So go ahead and cut that completely. Okay. Now I separated that, and I made, you get 3 strips of about 1 yard each of this wavy trim. And I decided you can make this is where you make a decision what you want to do, but you can decide to use either the this one or this one, and I decided I want to use both. The last one I did, I only used one, you can see, but when I was done with it, I thought, oh, I think it needs more lace, so I'm going to use both. And I think I'm going to place, well, so you can cut these around 10 inches long, and you're going to place them in between, and usually I just use the pinks as a guide. So I have a pink here, and I'm going to place another one. I'm going to skip one pink and then place one of these here. And all I do is I want it to be on top, so I knot it on top. See that? And I don't know how many I'm going to use, but I skip a pink, and then I put a pink. This is supposed to look a bit messy, and that's actually the look of this wreath. And it's not supposed to be totally uniform, although we are counting, and it's mostly for your benefit that I'm doing that, so that you kind of get an idea of what you need. If you feel like you like my other one better and you don't like so much lace on top, or you want to, there's actually other laces in there that you can stagger. This one looks kind of long. This one. This knotted, and it has really a long strip of all the fabrics. So like if you run out of fabric, you can actually use these, and some of them are long so that you can actually have enough. So you can see here, there's one, there's the pink, so they're all in here. Now you can go ahead, and I'm just gonna put them even right here, line them up. And then you also have some different fibers. This is just going to be the tassel. So I'm just organizing them. Take off any extra strings that might be on the things. Clean it up a little. And some of these are longer than others. Like this one is 2 yards, so I'm just leaving it folded for right now. And just get them here. And then I love this one. This one's really long. I think I left it really long. So you probably have enough for 2. It's just, this is actually a piece of vintage, the lining fabric of a wedding dress. And it is just so gorgeous in the tassels. And then you can grab the piece that's left here of this, any of these that you have left. There's a piece still here of this. I'm going to hold that because it's kind of short. Okay, so what you're going to do is that these are about a yard long, but you do not want the edges to come out exactly the same, and they are varied lengths. If you feel more comfortable, you can actually, you know, cut them all the same length, if that makes you feel comfortable, but I leave them all different lengths. And we're gonna attach this here. Just make sure you turn it back over to the same way you were doing before, to the back. And we're gonna take all these pieces, and we're actually gonna do the same thing. We're gonna attach it to here in the same manner, but we have a whole bunch of them together instead of one. So I've decided I'm gonna put it about there. And my tassel doesn't come out even. I trim it after. And this one, it's not as long as the others, but I put it about halfway. And I am going to put the hole there underneath. Take this, put all that stuff through. I messed that up. Okay, there we go. Okay, and you can see that it's kind of loose here. What we're going to do is we're going to pull each single one until it gets tight. I just pull each individual one with a gentle tug. Found that one. And now you can see why we left a little space there. So you just take each individual one and just tug them. They don't have to be perfect. This is going to all get covered up right here. So now at this point is where you decide if you want to add more pieces here, because now you know how much space you have. So you just follow the same pattern. On this side I'm going to go ahead and put one of these. Remember, there's about the same amount on each side. Uh-oh, I need to turn around. Always go back to the back of it because that's the way we were putting it on before. And that one, then this one. I'm probably going to just use all the fabrics that I have. I'll just tighten it up, and if you end up needing more, you just remove some from the tassel, measure it, and cut them the same size as the others were. I have one pink on this left, and I'm just gonna squeeze them in, just gently. I'll put the pink over here, and I'll put the other one over there. No, I better do this one. Really, so the evenness here doesn't matter. It's up, that part's all just, it's not going to really be seen. It's just a matter of filling in you're going to be placing things on top of there. But I'm just going to use everything that's there. You can even cut some of these thick ones in half. Like this one's pretty thick. It's probably an inch. So do 2 half-inch ones are fine. But I really found that I like working with the 3/4 of an inch size the best. The inch one seems a little big. The half seems a little small. So whenever you have it on the back, I always go through and I push all my knots down against the fabric, and that looks gorgeous. That looks gorgeous. It's beautiful. I just love all the colors, and this is going to be a finished one that will be for sale because I'm actually making it finished. And the last ones I had that were for sale that were finished, I actually sold them, so I can sell this one. And if you look at this, how wide this is, all of this depends on you. If you want to trim this down, and so here it's going to get so covered up that it doesn't matter that much here, that it's just a filler. It's just all filled in. Okay. Knots forward.